Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks. We do not set a record. There's never been 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks taken at the top. It is what our mock drafts have been saying between Ryan Wilson. It's Kyle Pitts to the Atlanta Falcons, highest drafted tight end of all time.
Absolutely love this. I mean, you're talking about a playmaker. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I'm a Gator, so seeing him play.
Go Gators!
You're gonna miss him. Yeah, he helped contribute to a lot of wins. He's a star. He's an absolute star. He's a difference maker. He could play wide receiver if they need him to. He goes into an offense that's going to clearly feature him to the level of, not the same heights as he would have gone to if he, didn't have a Julio Jones and a Calvin Ridley, but he's going to get the ball plenty. Arthur Smith is a former tight ends coach. He's going to lean on this guy. He's going to make Matt Ryan happy. It buys time for Matt Ryan because it gives him an opportunity to still flourish and put up some big numbers. And so, fantasy-wise, he's going to be in the mix as a top 10 tight end right away. He's certainly going to be one of the top picks in rookie-only drafts for dynasty leagues. He's a top 3 dynasty tight end right away. He's got just so much upside, and this allows them to potentially trade Julio Jones if they so decide to before the 2021 campaign. I don't think that's going to happen, but if, in fact, they do decide to move on from him, this is a playmaker that could step in and put up numbers and help this offense.
Love this pick. This is a mismatch nightmare. That's what he is. And we know Arthur Smith loves to use a lot of double tight end sets. They have Hayden Hurst still there. You get this guy on the field at the same time with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, big, strong, physical. And here's the other thing. A receiver coach told me, they said, why not take off, they could take off 10 pounds of him because he added 10 pounds to get ready for his pro day. No, well, he needs it. And make him Calvin Johnson. That's how much they think he can be outside as a wide receiver. So I think there's so many different things you could do. I love this pick by the Falcons. This was something that I had started hearing a couple weeks ago, that the ownership, Arthur Blank, said, no, we're going to stick with Matt Ryan. He's our guy for the next couple years. We'll get the tight end and add to what we have in the passing game.
Could be a run on pass catchers here with a couple wide receivers potentially up next. But then you could have a team trade up because Mac Jones is still out there. Justin Fields is still out there as well. Let's go to the fantasy room. Heath, Dave, I think it was Dave that said earlier, instantly he's a top 5 tight end. Is that what you said?
That's his potential, absolutely. And it really is his potential if Julio Jones gets traded. Because if Julio Jones is there, let's face it, there's going to be a lot of targets that are going to go around. This will be a team that throws a lot. Look at their running backs right now, and I don't know what their running game is going to look like. I don't know if they're going to want to run the football, and they might have to throw the football a lot because that defense is so bad. So there could potentially be 100 targets for Kyle Pitts as a rookie, 120 targets for Julio Jones, 130 targets for Calvin Ridley. Those 3 guys are going to get a lot, but the touchdowns are going to be spread. If you thought that Julio Jones not getting touchdowns was a problem before, it's going to get worse now because Pitts is a touchdown scorer. He scored a touchdown less than 1 every 4 catches at Florida last year. Jamey's right. He contributed to a ton of wins, and he's got great potential to help fantasy managers. The hype is going to be out of control on him. You're going to see him drafted no later than round 8. It could be closer to round 7. People are going to take him. They're going to forget about rookie tight ends, but he's got the upside for it, and I love the offense that he's in. I do think he's got top 5 potential.
My first run of projections with him, I've got him at tight end 10 for redraft purposes, tight end 5 for dynasty purposes. And I do think there is certainly more upside than both of those numbers. And if Julio's traded, you hit on that. That gives him more room for volume. But the other thing this changes, with Arthur Smith going to Atlanta, you had this contrast between the type of offense he'd run with the run-heavy scheme, the type of offense Matt Ryan had traditionally run with 600 pass attempts.
It's over.
You don't have to worry about that anymore,
No.
I don't think. I think they're going to throw the ball 600-plus times. If they're going to add Kyle Pitts at number 4 with all the other holes they have, there's going to be a lot of passes.
How many touchdowns did you project him for?
5.
And where do you have Matt Ryan now in your rankings? Is he a top 12 quarterback as of right now?
He's not there yet, but there's so many good quarterbacks. He won't be too far away.
He's going to be there for me, Chris.
All right. Dave loves it. Pete loves it. Was that an A+ from you?
An A.
Solid A.
Solid A.
It's an A+ to Trevor Lawrence. Solid A here.
Doesn't block anybody.
Doesn't have to.
Let's go to the quarterback room. Pete said he's hearing that this could be a Calvin Johnson type player. Danny, how you feeling if you're Matt Ryan?
So Jamey's a Gator. He loves this.
Shocker.
I'm a Seminole. I love it too. I wish I could call him a bust. This to me might be the biggest lock of the draft, like a surefire hit of what is working, what teams are looking for. I think the tight end position, we've seen this kind of resurgence with Kelsey and Kittle and even Gronk coming back and getting in the mix in Tampa. It's a mismatch nightmare. I mean, for defenses, who do you put on Kyle Pitts? And I think this is going to do wonders for the back end of Matt Ryan's career. Like, I think it's going to have him back in the conversation of top 10 quarterbacks, and I think you'll see him putting up massive numbers. So I love this pick for the Falcons.
I love this pick, too, for this reason. There really wasn't any defensive talent because I think actually that's where Atlanta needs the most help that you could draft in this particular position. So why not go get the best overall player on offense who's going to be a mismatch nightmare? And by the way, a year from now, he may end up being your go-to guy replacing what Julio Jones was because they may be moving on from Julio Jones at some point. So it may be the Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley show with Matt Ryan, who we act like he's that old. He's 35 years old. He's still got a lot of good football left in him. And I'll just say this, in looking at what Arthur Smith did as the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, we know they want to run the football. But one of the things we kind of underestimate is the fact that Jonnu Smith became a big part of that offense too at the tight end spot. He's going to have some different things for Kyle Pitts to put him in advantageous situations and get them production. So I think this makes a lot of sense when you look at the rest of the division. The Saints, we don't know what they're going to be at the quarterback spot. Tampa Bay, obviously, we expect them to be the best of the division. You better be able to keep pace. Kyle Pitts gives them some nightmares on defense trying to match up with him. So I love this pick. It makes the most sense. And I'm glad they didn't try to trade out of it because I don't think they find a difference maker at any other point that they really need on this roster.
Everybody seems to either like it a lot or love it. Brady loves it, Danny loves it, Jamey loves it, Pete gives it a solid A. So that's the top 4. All right, let's bring in Scott Pioli for the first time tonight on our watch party. Scott, you've been watching things unfold on the NFL Network. What is your biggest takeaway so far?
I love the Kyle Pitts pick. I really do. To me, he's probably the second best player in this entire draft. And I wasn't sure what the Falcons were going to do there, but I absolutely love this player. I love everything about him. It's not just the physical skills and the tools that he has at the position, but what's been underrated and hasn't been talked about a whole lot is talking with Dan Mullen about Kyle Pitts is his intelligence is outstanding. So Kyle Pitts, as we know, most of the time we saw him split out away from the tackle, off of the line of scrimmage as a tight end. But what we've also seen is he can play the Y, which is the traditional tight end position. He can split out as a tight end. But the other thing is he knows the X and the Z position. He knows all of the wide receiver positions. So this gave Dan Mullen the opportunity to create mismatches. When he moves forward into the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons are going to be able to use him in a multitude of ways. And again, he's not only physically skilled, he's really smart, highly competitive. And again, in this day and age where quarterbacks are getting to play longer because of all the rules changes, Matt Ryan should be fine for another couple of years. This is a terrific pick that is really going to help the offense of the Atlanta Falcons.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.